The President of the United States is spending this holiday melting down on Truth Social. And it's not just about his personal grievances or Jeffrey Epstein anymore. It's also about the war he appears to be eager to start. Donald Trump is now publicly announcing military strikes on Truth Social, clearly trying to distract the public from the scandal that is consuming his White House. We're going to break all of this down, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the unhinged post Donald Trump just made, and why this so-called No New Wars administration seems determined to drag us into every conflict imaginable, I want to start with someone who has been calling Trump out for exactly this behavior. That's Congressman Jason Crow, a man Donald Trump continues to threaten to this day.
I continue to believe that the boat strikes are outside of their legal authority. They have to come to Congress now. This has been happening for several months. This is way, way outside of the immediate authority that any president has to conduct self-defense operations. After a certain period of time, after 60 days, a president no longer has the ability to just do whatever he or she wants. You have to come to Congress and get that authority. We're way outside that window. It's time for Congress to get re-involved. But then there's also the issue of the conduct of the strikes themselves. You know, I'm a combat veteran. I did 3 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. I saw the unedited video of that double tap strike, is what it's being called, in early September.
That killed survivors.
That killed survivors, and it was gutting to me because there was just no justification for that second strike. That is not who we need to be. That's not who we are as a country. That was an unlawful strike by any standard that I was trained and operated on when I went overseas. And I'm going to continue to push for accountability.
The U.S. government keeps saying it's about going after narco-terrorists. That's how they are referring to people who are on these boats that they're striking. And so I keep wondering, though, if fentanyl's not really coming from Venezuela. We know, according to the Government Accountability Office, that's mostly China and Mexico. Why is Venezuela in the crosshairs? Why such a focus on Venezuela?
Well, that's the question, right? They don't have an answer to that question because this clearly seems to be about an effort to force Maduro out, to push us towards
regime change. That is the end goal here.
Yeah, I do believe that is what they're doing, which is exactly why accountability in Congress matters so much. And you know, this idea that the boat strikes and what's happening more broadly within the Caribbean is about fentanyl and the war on drugs, that also is not the case, right? It's fentanyl that's devastating our kids, that's devastating our communities, that we need to actually have an effort and a strategy to end. This administration hasn't destroyed one single shipment of fentanyl. Fentanyl is coming via land routes and air routes, not via boats, right? They're hitting marijuana, they're hitting cocaine. That is largely not what is devastating our children and our communities, right? And at the same time, as they say that they're trying to cut off all these drug routes, the president goes and he pardons one of the biggest and most notorious drug dealers of the 21st century, right? So none of this makes any sense.
Former president.
This administration is not only committing crimes on the daily, but they are doing so in the dumbest fashion possible. These are not smart people. If you want Pete Hegseth and any of his goobers to be your yes men, you are not going to get the top of the top, right? You are not going to get the geniuses. You are not going to get the strategic masterminds. You are going to get a fill-in weekend Fox host. Those people don't really know what they're doing. And that seems to be what Donald Trump is discovering. But it is still not stopping him from trying to start an armed conflict for a million reasons, of course, to get us not talking about Epstein to try to expand his tyrannical power, or maybe just because he's lost his mind and wants to go full dictator. But that's what Trump is announcing tonight. Trump wrote on Truth Social, "Tonight at my direction, as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership and country, we will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. He has truly lost it. He's manic, and he's desperate to appear powerful and strong. This outburst of rage seems to be directed at a situation that, frankly, I don't think he fully understands or even genuinely cares about. Do we really believe Donald Trump is reading any of the security briefings he's being given, or is he just glued to Truth Social, posting nonstop? Because from where I'm standing, it's clear he's far more interested in posting on Truth Social than in governing. And once again, this is supposed to be the No New Wars administration. There are moments when U.S. military intervention has been necessary, but Donald Trump is absolutely not the person I trust to make those decisions. I do not want the United States dragged into random foreign conflicts that we don't need to be involved in. I don't want trillions of dollars poured into a Pentagon that can't even pass an audit. And under Pete Hegseth, most of that money is probably going toward beer kegs anyway. Donald Trump doesn't want peace or stability. He wants to look like a strong man. He wants to act like a dictator. He wants to stand there and say, "Look at me, I'm powerful, I can use force." And time again, that impulse has played out in the most corrupt way imaginable. Rachel Maddow broke all of this down perfectly right here.
As we head toward the end of this first year of Trump being back in office, the corruption story in this country is becoming more and more central to people's understanding of what Donald Trump and the Trump-era Republican Party have to offer the country. I mean, people don't like what Trump is doing on immigration broadly. They don't like the cruelty. They don't like masked secret police roaming around in unmarked cars and grabbing people off the street on the basis of their race, and shooting pepper balls at people and breaking people's car windows and chasing people into church parking lots and daycare centers. Yeah, it turns out people do not like that broadly, and that is why you are seeing protests against it in blue states and red states all across the country. But on top of that, we've learned from new reporting in the Washington Post in the last few days that the Trump administration also just fast-tracked $1 billion government contract for self-deportation promotion to a random pro-Trump donor whose company had never had a government contract before. The Washington Post based this on records they say they reviewed. The Department of Homeland Security says there's nothing wrong with this at all, but it is $1 billion of your money going to some random pro-Trump donor who's never done anything like this before, but somehow the Homeland Security Department had to fast-track him this money. Your money. $1 billion of your money. Remember the so-called border czar, Tom Homan? Used to be ubiquitous in threatening immigrants on behalf of Trump. The same Tom Homan who is reportedly on tape receiving $50,000 in cash, green money, in a fast food bag from Cava. He reportedly received this money from undercover FBI agents in a bribery sting that was mysteriously shut down once Trump got back into office. Tom Homan initially said he had done nothing wrong, but he refused to address what he had done with the money. He later said, oh, actually, he didn't take the money at all. But reporting first from MS Now, later matched by a number of other news outlets, led members of Congress to make some formal inquiries on this. Among the questions still unanswered about that reported bribery scam for Trump's top immigration guy is the question of whether or not Tom Homan actually did get the money. And if he did he actually keep the money? Did he keep the $50,000 he reportedly took in that paper bag in that FBI sting operation from undercover FBI agents on tape? Again, that's $50,000 of your money. 10 business days from today is the deadline for the Justice Department to hand over to Democratic U.S. senators a whole bunch of its records on that bribery sting, including the tape and any information the government has on what Tom Homan might have done with the 50 G's from the FBI that he reportedly accepted on tape, which he now says, oh, he never got it all. That said, there's more new MS Now reporting on the FBI's shepherding of its own resources under the leadership of Trump's hand-picked FBI director, a right-wing podcaster named Cash. That reporting might be a bit of a distraction from those other corruption allegations right now at the FBI. MS Now reporting that Patel has demanded that the FBI use specially configured armored BMW SUVs for driving him around because he likes them better than the Suburbans that all other high-ranking government officials use.
If they aren't grifting, then they aren't trying hard enough. Because with this administration, it's always a grift. Every move, every decision comes back to the same thing, and we are going to call it out every single day, even on Christmas. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.